Good afternoon, crafters, and welcome to P2P Craft Presents, brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Paper Craft Shows. I'm your host, Michelle Brown, Creative Director at From Picture to Page, which is our scrapbooking, mixed media art and paper crafts community. Now, P2P Craft presents demonstrations and interviews with our talented retailers and crafters, and we've got a whole heap of sessions over the next few weeks. Now, if you'd like to catch up with the replays or see who else is coming along, pop over to our website from picturetopageandbeyond.com.au, where you can get all the information and see who's coming up, see all the replays, all of the links to the retailers' websites, and a chance to leave comments as well. And while you're over there, make sure you're on our mailing list so you can get all the information straight to your inbox, as well as a weekly summary that shows you all of the different sessions that we're holding over the next few weeks. Now, whether you're watching live or on a replay, we'd love to hear from you. So make sure you ask us any questions as we go along, as well as, of course, giving us a like and sharing us with your crafty friends, whether here on Facebook, YouTube, or over at the Picture to Page website. Now, today, we are very excited because P2P Craft presents Eclectic Images. Hello, Kathy.
Hello, Michelle, and hello, everyone who's watching.
And how are you today?
Very well, thanks. Enjoying the sunshine today.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're so looking forward to learning a little bit more about you, as well as Eclectic Images. So I'd really like to know, where did the name come from?
Oh, that's a tough one, actually. It was just, we were looking for something that would cover the fact that I have a broad range of interests in stamps. I didn't want anything too cute because I do a lot of backgrounds and grunge things and stuff like that. So I was looking for a name that would cover all the different styles of stamping that I love, and that's where Eclectic came from.
Ah, excellent. And so where do your styles and images come from?
Well, a lot of them are designed by myself, but one of the original thoughts for starting the company was that my sister, Andrea, who's a fashion designer, had done these beautiful series of 1940s inspired ladies for her final portfolio when she was studying. And I thought, these ladies are so beautiful, they need to be stamps. And I wanted to have them as stamps. So the best way to do that, I was looking for a change in career, and my husband said, well, why not look into starting your own company and have them your own stamps? Mm-hmm. And, then that's where the roller coaster started.
Oh, excellent. And so were you and your sister always drawers, or is that something you'd come along later in life?
I used to draw horses by the hour when I was a youngster. We both always loved art, and certainly lettering and calligraphy and things like that. So moving into stamping was a fairly natural progression. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I saw someone in a store doing embossing, and I just went, oh, I could do that. And that was it. I've been hooked, and that's 25 years ago, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yep. Nothing like the sign of a real stamper.
Any
Yep. When our stampers first saw that embossing, that's when we were hooked.
I know, the whole embossing gets us in.
Yep, every time. And so what was your very first Eclectic Images stamp?
The very first one, I actually hand-carved a couple to start with.
Oh, wow.
And they were the pears and the Venetian mask. Mm-hmm. And then when I first started making, I think my first one might have been Sketch Swirl, and then moved on to the ladies.
Oh, excellent.
But we actually made sure that we had a few stamps across different categories before we actually opened.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think my first Eclectic Images stamp may have been a set of phrases. Was it the enchantment phrases that came in a lovely little tin?
Oh, wow.
So
yes. Yes, well, those words still sell good.
Yep. What, 20 years ago, maybe?
Not quite. No, maybe. We've certainly been going for about 14 or 15, I think.
Okay.
I've lost track a little bit.
Excellent. And so,
everybody's losing track of dates.
Oh, my goodness, aren't we? So, Kathy, what have you got to show us today?
Well, I thought I would show some working on gloss card, which is sort of my signature thing. And we're going to do some blending just using one set of ink pads that come in a set, and with a little bit of embossing afterwards. But I'm going to be using a combination of brushes. My normal brushes that I love to work with, and everybody's seen me working with, the ones with the long green handles, unfortunately, at the moment, we can't get stock and won't be able to until probably later in June. So what I've got is the next size down. So I've done a pack for people who would like the brush sets. I've done a pack that includes 2 of our new blending brushes, and then it has 4 of the slightly smaller size green handle ones. And this will cover, I think, everything that we need to do that we normally do with the bigger brushes. Mm-hmm. So I've put together that. So we've got the new blending brushes either in a set of different sizes. We've got them in a set of just 2 medium-sized ones together. And until I can get the number 10s back, I'm doing a special offer with quite a good discount on the combination. I've called it a mixed brush. Ah. So that's what I'll use today.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll let you get set up. And then while Kathy's getting set up, we will see who we've got online here. So I can see, Joan's telling us that she's got so many eclectic images stamped. So that is really good. I can see Helen. Hello, Mary. Hello, Tamara. Trish, Sandra, Libby, Heather. Oh, what a fantastic. Oh, and Wendy as well. Excellent. Thank you all so much for joining us. It looks like Kathy is ready now. So I'll hand over to her. Take it away, Kathy.
Okay, all sorted. So what I'm using is the Catherine Pooler inks, and I've got the mini set, which is the one called Life of the Party. And it's got a great range of colours. I don't know whether I'm showing them to you up the right way or upside down, but it's got some wonderful colours, and we're going to use about 6 out of the pack of 8, I think. So I'm going to start off with the Lime Ricky and just ink my stamp up. Now, you do have to be a bit careful with Catherine Pooler inks. They're very spongy. So you just touch your stamp ever so lightly. No smooshing at all. And I've already got a mask ready, and I just wobbled the camera, sorry. I've already got a mask ready that I've already stamped and cut out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stamp it once, stamp it a second time, and then I'm going to put my mask in and stamp it a third time across. So by going several times without re-inking, we have given the impression that our heels are getting softer and going more into the distance. Now, we're just going to go over that slightly with the heat gun just to make sure that's really dry before we start our blending. So I'll do it to one. I'll just excuse the noise for a moment. These inks will dry on the gloss card, but you do just need to make sure that they're dry before you start doing the blending. So the heat gun is just to speed it up a little bit. So now we're going to come in straight away with some yellow. And I was mentioning that we have done a mixed brush set to make up for the fact that I can't get the bigger size brushes at the moment. So this is our mixed brush set. It's 2 of the medium size blending brushes plus 4 of the long handled future brushes. And these blending brushes are great when you're wanting to cover quite a large area, especially on matte cardstock, but on the gloss card as well. And I'm hoping you can see where I'm inking up. I'm just going to have a bit of a look, see if we can see it. Yep. I'm just tapping over the ink pad, and then I'm going to smear it onto my card. Now, can we still see that quite clearly, Michelle?
Yes, we can see that.
Good. Now, I'm working in from the sides, and I'm actually quite happy. I want there to be like a little bit of sunlight hitting the top of the hillside, so I'm happy if I go over the edge a little bit there. We're just doing circles, and you'll notice I hang on to the head of the brush. Now, for some people, these brushes are great because you've got several different ways that you can hold them, which can help if you've got a little bit of arthritis or you shake a little bit. I tend to be a little bit keen with my brushes, so I like to actually hold on to the head of them. But don't put too much pressure on, or that can actually give you some brush marks. Now, these brushes clean out pretty well, so I can go from this colour to my next one, which is just a soft orange, without having to stop and clean my brush in between. And I'll be able to clean it off easily on just a soft cloth before I want to go back to the yellow again. So we'll put some of this is Tiki Torch that we're using now. But yeah, if you start from the edge and work in, you'll find you get far less chance of getting brush marks. However, it's always one of those things. If you do get a few brush marks, you turn them into clouds, or if it's on the water, you turn it into water ripples, or you emboss something over the top of it. It's not the end of the world. But most of us do like to be able to achieve a nice blended look. So by making sure that you blend one edge back into your first colour and blend the other edge out so you've got a nice soft edge there to blend our next colour into. So I'll grab my next brush and next colour. This is Tutti Frutti, which is a deeper orange. You can see I've gone in there a little bit hard to start with and got a few little brush marks, but we'll sort those out. Just nice and soft. And you'll notice that I just ink, particularly when I'm working with the long handle brushes, just ink the very end of the brush. Similar here, I'm just inking the main bristles of the brush. And this colour is not behaving itself at all for me today. You'll notice I've got a sample that I did earlier, and the blending was beautiful on that. So I'll show you that in a minute. But again, I'm just going to keep working it until I've got nice soft edges. I want a little bit more colour in the middle there. Then I'm going to move on to the party dress colour, which is a lovely pink. My brush of white. Now, these brushes and these inks can be used on your matte cardstock just as nicely as on the gloss. And in fact, I'm really enjoying working on the matte cardstock with them in the moment. Although I know my signature thing is working on gloss card, but the matte card is coming up beautifully as well. And that can be any of your white cardstocks, or for myself, I'm using the cotton blend that I do all my watercolouring on, is working beautifully with these inks to create these lovely scenes as well. Now I'll switch to my long handle brush, and this is the Something Borrowed colour, and we'll just put some blue at the top of our sky here. So these brushes, as you can see, are a little bit smaller than the ones I normally work with. So they're not as good for covering a large area, which is why the other brushes fill in that gap there, because they can cover those large areas easier. These ones are better for more accurate colouring, as you'll see in a minute when we do the hillsides, but also you can still do all your edging. So this is where I'm pouncing now to build up a little bit more colour. And if I get too much ink on that I'm not happy with, come in with your previous brush and just soften it back. I keep being careful that I'm not hitting where the phone's resting with the end of the brush. They are rather long-handled brushes, these ones.
That's fine, Kathy. When you finish the blue, could you hold it up for us to have a closer look, please?
Oh, certainly. Soften that off. There we go. So there's our blending. How's that?
Just a bit to your left.
Let's see that.
There we go. Yep. And then just a bit towards you.
Okay, now we're going to turn the card around a bit towards me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now we're going to go back to our yellow and our green, which is the tiara colour, and back to my yellow brush. And I'm going to put some yellow over the mountains. And it is funny because so many people say, oh, you make it look so easy, and I get smudges and I make mistakes. And I've put a fingerprint there on mine. So, you know, we all do things like that, and it just means I'll stamp something over the top of it or emboss something over the top of it. It's all good.
Mm.
I think often we're too hard on ourselves with expecting things to be perfect, and they don't have to be. What's good about doing this sort of stuff is the process of creating it and creating art and enjoying that side of it. You know, most times we do get a lovely card at the end that we can give to someone, and they don't know if we made a little smudge or something. So you can see with these brushes, I can actually put a bit of pressure. Now, I don't know whether I can show it easy on the camera, but I can actually, rather than being straight up, I can actually push the brush down And this means it gives me quite an edge. So I can actually, without having to stop and use my masks, I can just wiggle right in along that edge. And then I just use the brush, turn it round, just smudge it out a bit. But what I'm wanting to do is actually leave the top of the hillside looking a bit yellow. And that's going to then look like the sunlight is hitting that.
And Kathy, just after you've done that bit, could you just sit the card still so the camera can focus? We're just finding it a little bit hard to see the detail.
Sorry, I'm so used to spinning the card around. I'll try and work without moving it. Thanks, Michelle. It's very strange not being able to see what the camera's seeing to know how it's going.
Yes, and we're putting a huge strain on our Victorian NBN at the moment and all other forms of internet. So it is a little bit blurry, but that's okay. We can still see what's going on.
Just going to do some of that pouncing like I did with the blue. Do that slightly, just around those bottom edges. And I'll hold the card up again in a moment. Can you see now where I've left some lighter bits at the top of the hillside?
Yeah, just hold it still just for a moment longer. There we go. Now it's focused. That's clearer.
So you can see by having some light and some dark, that again it's creating a bit more realism. It's creating depth to the piece. Now we're going to come in with some more stamps. So I'm going to use my Gumtree silhouette stamps, and you can tell that I use mine with archival inks a lot. But today I'm going to do my stamping in the same colours that we've been using for our colouring. Start off, and I'm going to stamp bigger trees off to the side of the card. But you can see, I'll keep out of shot for a minute and let it focus on that. Now we'll come in with a big tree on the other side. You do have to be a little bit careful stamping onto gloss card because it is a slippery surface. I'll let that sit still for a moment.
Excellent. We can see that much
clearer. Now we're going to use the mask. Oh, good. Okay. I'll try and stop moving it. Everyone, Michelle did tell me to not talk so quickly and to not move the card around. But I'm just going with my habits, and it's really hard to not do. So it's good that she's letting me know what you guys can see. So let's pop the mask in here and stamp a tree, a smaller one there. And now, again, I'm not going to re-ink. And we're going to stamp a couple more in and stamp just little bits of the tree. And one across the top there, right in the middle there. And so what we end up looking like is we've got smaller trees and bushes going into the background. Okay, now to do the next stage would be embossing over the top of this. And to do that, I'd need to get this card really, really dry. So rather than running the heat gun to do that, I'm going to bring in the one that I've already embossed on just so you can see how you finish this card off. Now, you don't have to add the embossing. What we've already done would be fine. But you can see on this one, I've just added the flower border down the bottom, added some gum leaf branch around the top.
Kathy, could you turn it around? We can actually see it the same way that you're seeing. So if you could just turn that around for us. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. So you can see there my blending was loads better. But I just want to show you one more thing on the other card. I'll take that one out of shot now and bring this one back in again. So on the other card, where I am a little bit wobbly there, what I could do with that is just go back to that Tutti Frutti ink pad, ink it up on one of my smaller brushes, pop it down on the side and just come in raggedly and make some actual clouds there. So that way you can make it look like you intended it to be that way all along. So you don't stress if it's not perfect. because just turn it into something else. So many times with our craft things, when we make a bit of a mistake, you then look at it later and think, actually, I really like that. And then you've got to remember how you did it to do it again. So that's my little sample for today. And that's it with some clouds in there.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'll answer a few questions while you turn your phone around. So I know that was a little bit blurry, but we're really pushing the internet to the limit with trying to get 2 lots of video going out to you at once. So I hope you are patient, and we'll make sure that we've got stills of all those images as well, and we'll pop them onto the page with the video, so then you'll be able to see that in detail. Okay, so Kathy, let's see. Now first, Nanette Jean tells us that her first Eclectic Images stamp she got in 2013. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie tells us that she got her first Eclectic Image stamp from Papercraft's mailbox, who are no longer around.
Yes.
So I don't remember.
Yes,
them.
They used to sell them. They did a lot of parchment craft.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
But they loved ladies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, if you've got any other questions, please pop them in the comments. I'm just going to ask, Kathy, blending can be really hard to get right. So what are some of your tips for someone who's just starting out?
Well, that's another thing to talk about is we have had a DVD for years called Getting Started in Stamping, but not everybody has a DVD player these days. So we've just refilmed it yesterday, and it will get loaded up onto YouTube in the next couple of days. So people will be able to go onto the Eclectic Images YouTube site, or from either our Facebook page or our website, there's links to the YouTube site. So they'll be able to go on there, and there's a Getting Started in Stamping Part 1, Part 2, and then an Embossing Basics, so to get you started with embossing as well. So we've broken it up into 3 steps to make it a bit more manageable. So if someone's wanting to get started, that's a great thing that you can watch how to do a stamp, what some of the different inks are and different cardstocks, things like that. Easy ways of colouring, because you can start off colouring with just your coloured pencils. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have anything fancy. Yeah. That's why stamping's so wonderful.
And that's a really good point, because I think once you've been crafting for a while, we tend to forget what all the different inks are for. We just kind of know without thinking. So it's good to be able to go back to those basics and check what you've got. Yeah,
there's so many. It's so confusing now. We have so many different types of inks. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was just going over just some of the things, the basic colouring things you can do with your stamping. So that'll be available. I'll try and get it all sorted today or tomorrow. That'll be up very soon so that anyone can go on and have a look and break it down from there.
Excellent. We'll make sure we link that. Now, also, the inks that you used were really bright. What brand were those, and how many colours do they come in?
The brand is Catherine Pooler. Mm-hmm. It's an American brand. I think she's got about 56 colours in the range now.
Yep.
Some of them, they're all available as a full-size pad, but some of them come as the minis, which is a good way of collecting them. Mm-hmm. And so that set that I was using is called Life of the Party, and that has 8 different colours in it. Mm-hmm. And then they have some others that are richer versions of those colours and others that are more pastel versions. They're water reactive, so you can do all your background effects with them, and then they have a black that's permanent. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty good range.
Excellent. Now, Kerry has again done our research for us and popped the link to your YouTube channel into the comments, so thank you so much for that, Kerry. We will make sure that we do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that is all. So if we didn't have any other questions, Ruth said she missed the start. So Ruth, we'll have all the replays here at Facebook and, of course, over at YouTube and on the Picture to Page website as well. So don't worry, you can go back and see it in detail. So, Kathy, is there anything else we need to know today?
Oh, just have fun. Mm-hmm. Papercraft is awesome.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you got a special on your brushes at the moment.
Yes, the special offer it's called a mixed brush set, and would normally be about $27, and I've got it down at $22.50.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And we've got your...
next couple of months.
Yep. We've got your website here on the screen. Is that the best place for people to go and find them?
Sure is.
Excellent. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for coming and joining us today and sharing your gorgeous blending technique with us.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And this is just a lovely way to connect while we can't actually do our shows. So thank you.
No, thank you. Excellent. Okay, we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, Kathy.
Okay, bye.
Excellent. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that video. And like we said, we know that the bandwidth was being pushed to its limits, but we'll make sure that we've got a picture of the final product on the website. And like Kathy said, check out the Eclectic Images YouTube channel where you can go and have a look at all their basics as well as some of her other tutorials. And it's almost like being at the craft show and seeing them in real life. So thank you so much for coming and joining P2P Craft Presents Eclectic Images. Like we said, if you need any more information about the sessions we've got coming up, head over to our website from picture2pageandbeyond.com.au. Of course, make sure you're on our emailing list. Leave a comment so that we know that you've been here. Give us a like. And of course, I can see lots of hearts jumping across the screen, so thank you so much. And of course, make sure you share us with our crafty friends. So this is Michelle Brown signing off. We hope you have a crafty day.